Welcome, everybody. I would like to welcome you to the very first Goontelligence Sports Podcast Show. Today, April 21st, 2020, we're going to be doing a mock draft. Our NFL draft is in 2 more days, and I'm going to attempt to draft as if I was every team in the NFL. And I think I'm going to do a great job. Some of these picks I'm going to hit on, some of these picks I won't. But that's the whole purpose of a mock draft. So I'm also going to be discussing the big news today of Rob Gronkowski being traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, joining Tom Brady for a 4th round draft pick. So we're going to discuss that as well as the competition that's going to be taking place in the NFL South Division. So let's start with the NFL draft. We know that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to open up the NFL draft. They are on the clock, and we all know that the number one pick since January has been Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU. Now, this is a no-brainer. You can't blow this if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. You can't take a chance drafting Tua when you don't know how his medical profile is going to check out. So with that being said, you can't go and draft, say, Chase Young, because he's a defensive player, but he doesn't necessarily impact the game as would Joe Burrow. We were able to see Ohio State versus Clemson, and we were able to see that Chase Young could not impact the game. It was times in that game where I feel as though he just didn't flash across the screen. Now, granted, his season was great, and he deserves to be a top 5, top 3 NFL draft pick. So don't get me wrong. Don't misconstrue anything that I'm saying. What I'm saying is that he doesn't deserve to be number one. He didn't have the year that Joe Burrow had with LSU. Now, that being said, Cincinnati needs more help than Joe Burrow, and I believe they're going to address that. And I don't necessarily think that Cincinnati will improve this year. I think they're going to be right back in the top 5 next year. But making Joe Burrow the number one pick is the right decision. So moving right along to the number 2 pick, which is the Washington Redskins. And this is where I believe that Chase Young comes off the board. There is no way that Chase Young makes it past Washington. And if he does, then it shows that Washington hasn't learned anything in the past couple of years with drafting. Chase is going to be a better fit for Washington. I don't think Washington should take a chance on drafting Tua, because you have the young quarterback there from Ohio State the previous year. And I just don't see a Arizona situation where they got rid of Josh Rosen to draft Murray. So that being said, I believe Washington is going to make an improvement on the defensive line and take Chase Young. Now, when they draft Chase Young and you take Ron Rivera's defensive scheme and you add in all the talent that Washington has already on their defensive line, they might make a real big improvement with in the division of the NFC. So especially with all the turmoil that you got going on in Dallas, you got Philadelphia, who is trying to find out what kind of offensive team they have. You know, Carson Wentz has not been the same quarterback since he injured himself the year that Nick Foles stepped in and brought them a Super Bowl championship. And in the process, Carson still got paid over $100 million, which is when you think of it, it's kind of crazy. But then you have the New York Giants, who they have a new coach. They're going to have a new offensive scheme. The only team that they really necessarily have is Saquon Barkley. And a running back, you're not going to win many games when all your talent is just at the running back position. So I think Washington can make some headway and get things done with just making this pick with Chase Young, kind of like the way that the San Francisco 49ers did when they took Nick Bosa, and now they're in the Super Bowl the next season. Now, I'm not saying that Washington is going to make a Super Bowl appearance, but playoffs. I'm just saying they may make a push to make the playoffs. So moving right along, we're going to go with the third pick, which is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions. Now, here's the thing about Detroit. And my thing with Detroit is you got a bunch of different avenues you can take with this pick, being that it's you still have Tua on the board, you have Justin Herbert on the board, you traded Darius Slay, and you have Jeff Okudah on the board from Ohio State. So you have options. You even have Isaiah Simmons still on the board from Clemson, linebacker from Clemson. So which avenue do you want to take? Do you take a quarterback and maybe push Matt Stafford? Because Stafford hasn't been much of anything. He's often injured. So do you want to take Tua right here? He's injured. He's been injured 3 times in his college career. Do you want to take Justin Herbert? Well, he's a big quarterback, kind of like built like Matt Stafford. He at one time they thought he was the consensus number 1 pick coming out of Oregon. Or do you want to go defensive back with Jeff Okudah? You got a real big need back there, being that you got rid of Darius Slay, who's a top cornerback in the NFL right now. So I would say because this is my mock draft, I'm going to take Jeff Okudah. I think Jeff Okudah steps in day one as a lockdown corner. You have to deal with you don't. You don't have many big name receivers out in the NFC North. Maybe two, Allen Robinson and Adam Thielen. Diggs is gone to Buffalo, so you don't have to worry about him. And Green Bay, you got Devontae Adams. So you have three. You have three big receivers out there in NFC North. So I would take Jeff Okudah. We're going to go to the number 4 draft pick, which is the New York Football Giants. I think the Giants should trade this pick. I'm going to be honest. I think they should trade it. You have way too many holes. Way too many. You have offensive line needs. You have linebacker needs. You have defensive back needs. I think you should trade this pick, get out of it, collect as many picks as you can. If I believe his name is Joe Judge. He's a Belichick disciple. At this time, he should do his best Bill Belichick impersonation and trade, and take the best player possibly in the later part of the middle of the first round. Depending on what team you trade with, more than likely you're going to have someone like, say, Miami try to trade and get ahead of the San Diego Chargers, maybe trying to get a quarterback. So I believe if I'm New York Giants, I'm calling Miami and I'm saying, hey, maybe possibly you want to come up here and get Tua right here. I got a perfect spot for you. You know, San Diego needs a quarterback as well. You want to hop in front? You know, that would be what I do. You know, but so this is my mock draft, right? So at the number 4 pick, I'm going to, if I'm the Giants, I'm trading that to Miami. And with the 4th pick, I think Miami pulls the trigger to get Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback from Alabama. I think that would be a great pick for Miami. Ryan Fitzpatrick is not getting any better. I mean, he can be a great substitute, but he is not what you want as a quarterback. He is a great replacement, but he is not the if this was a meal, he would be the side dish. He is not the main course. He's not. And what people fail to realize is that Ryan Fitzpatrick has almost played for half of the NFL. He's played in Buffalo. He's played in Tampa. He's been with the LA, the St. Louis Rams. It's plenty of teams that he's been with, and at a certain point, you can't make a journeyman quarterback your actual quarterback. So Miami needs to pull off that trade and take Tua. They can take a chance at being staying where they are, which right now I believe is the 6th pick, and let San Diego take Tua and try and hope that San Diego takes Justin Herbert and leaves Tua. They can take that chance. I wouldn't take it, but they can gamble if they want. And, hey, they say scared money don't make no money, but I wouldn't do it. So that's what I would do. I would trade up to get Tua Tagovailoa. So the next pick would be the LA Chargers. Right here, I think the LA Chargers is going to take a quarterback. They're not going to, per se, take Isaiah Simmons. They're not going to take the big offensive lineman from Iowa, by the name of Tristan Wirfs. They're not going to do that. They're going to take a quarterback. They have to replace Phillip Rivers. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They are struggling with attendance out there. Today they unveiled their new uniforms. So they're in a market where they're trying to compete with the LA Rams. The LA Rams have already been to a Super Bowl while they've been in LA. The Chargers have to compete with that. And they have to sell as many tickets as possible. And right here is where you go get your franchise quarterback and Justin Herbert. I think he's going to do well out there. He's a big kid. He has a great arm, and he's actually a better pocket passer, I would say, than Tua. Tua is, he's slightly more athletic, but he's not as athletic as he thinks he is, which is why he keeps getting injured, trying to run away from people, and he's getting caught from behind, and they're putting a little hot sauce on his ankles. But Justin will work out great in San Diego, and I believe San Diego hits a home run with that pick. So that would be who I would take right there. So we're going to go to the next pick, the Carolina Panthers. So the Carolina Panthers are in total rebuild mode. Total rebuild mode. They have a new quarterback. They've let go Cam Newton. They've paid Christian McCaffrey a bag of money. Gave him a bag of money. $16 million a season. NFL only plays 16 games. That's an average of $1 million a game. Now, I don't need to tell you that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Lot of money. So much money. I don't know what I would do. Oh, Lord. $1 million a game. I'm sorry. That threw me for a loop. So this is what I believe that Carolina would do. Carolina needs a lot of picks as well. You don't have the middle linebacker Luke Kuechly anymore. Thomas Davis is gone. Cam Newton is gone. The only thing you got is McCaffrey. Who else you got? You brought in Teddy Bridgewater. Okay. You went and got the new hot offensive coordinator from LSU, I believe Joe Brady, Sean Payton disciple. Okay. You went and got Matt Rule from Baylor. They say he can build a program overnight. Okay. I mean, you still got to get out there and do it, right? So, as far as picks go, I don't see them trading it. I think right here they just go ahead and address their defense with C.J. Henderson from Florida, who's a top 10 player in college football. I believe he is the number 2 rated cornerback in the draft. Jeff Okudah is head and shoulders number 1. You know, all these people are debatable behind him. Every single game I watched of Ohio State, Jeff Okudah flashed off the screen. You know, Chase Young too, but at least Jeff showed up against Clemson. Chase Young, not so much. I don't even think Chase had a sack in the game. But, yeah. So, back to Carolina. I think Carolina goes and gets C.J. Henderson. From what I've seen on Florida, C.J. is very good. I think he steps in day one as a starter and gets the job done. Will he be able to guard Mike from the Saints? I think not. But who can? You know, there's no shame in that. But I think it'll be a great pick for Carolina. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I'm a speed this along. Arizona, they have their quarterback with Murray. They have newly acquired DeAndre Hopkins, top 3 receiver in the league. Bill O'Brien is a knucklehead for trading him for a pack of Roman noodles and some and a can of Spam. So I think right here they address their defense and probably get the Auburn defensive tackle Derek Brown. Very good player. Is going to help them with run support, being that they are out there in that NFC West. We know that the San Francisco 49ers, all they do is run. Seattle, all they do is run the ball. So I think Derek Brown here helps Arizona with shoring up their run defense. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons. Well, let me get into why I say the Atlanta Falcons. Because obviously, this original pick is for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville probably more than likely trades out of this spot. The reason they trade out of the spot is because, like the Giants, they need every pick they can get. Now, Atlanta will more than likely address their defense. They've been needing defensive help since they lost that game 28-3, the Super Bowl game. Everybody knows about that with Tom Brady. They've been needing defensive help ever since. Vic Beasley, gone. Who you have? Debo Jones back there? So this is the pick I think Isaiah Thomas comes off. I say Isaiah Thomas. It's not basketball. Isaiah Simmons comes off the board. Linebacker, Clemson. Now, Isaiah Simmons is a machine, an absolute machine. He is going to run sideline to sideline with no problem. He doesn't need to come off the field. He can cover. So I think this is a great pick for the Atlanta Falcons. A wonderful pick. If they can pull it off. This is my mock draft, right? So it will behoove them to listen to me. I hope they find a link to this by the time they draft, right? So I got Isaiah Simmons going to the Atlanta Falcons at number 9. I got Tampa, Cleveland with another trade. I got a lot of trades in my mock draft. I got Tampa taking an offensive lineman. Now, let me tell you why. Offensively, they don't need nothing else. Maybe a running back, but who takes a running back that high anymore? Nobody. So, I mean, you got Tom Brady. You got Charles Godwin. You got Rob Gronkowski. You got Mike Evans. Who else you need? You got to take an offensive lineman to keep Tom Brady upright so he can get the ball to these great receivers. So I got them taking the Alabama offensive lineman, Jedrick Willis. Best offensive lineman in the draft, by the way. That's what I got them taking. The New York Jets are next. I got the New York Jets also taking a tackle. They need to improve their offensive line. Le'Veon Bell couldn't do anything last season. Anything. He was running behind an offensive line that had guys from the UPS, the Brown people, blocking for him. So I have them taking another offensive lineman, Mekhi Becton, Louisville. I've never watched Louisville play, to be honest with you, but they say this guy is the third-rated offensive lineman. So if I got Jedrick going 1, who they say is the best, I gotta go with the third best or the second best, which is Tristan. But right here, I got Mekhi going to the Jets. All right. So moving right along, the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I think the Las Vegas Raiders are going to take a wide receiver. Now, which wide receiver they take? That's up in the air, but it's going to be a wide receiver. You have 3 that are top 10 players in any other draft. But this draft here, you so happen to have teams with more needs drafting that high. So here, I think the Los Angeles Raiders take CeeDee Lamb from the University of Oklahoma. CeeDee Lamb is the best wide receiver in the draft. He's the most polished. He's not as fast as Henry Ruggs or Jerry Jeudy, but he is the better wide receiver, if that means anything to you. Basically, he runs the better routes. He can get open. He's explosive. He can do everything that you need a wide receiver to do. So that's why I think they take him over the other two. Well, over the other three, because I got to throw Justin Jefferson in there as well, because Justin Jefferson showed everybody at the NFL Combine that he can run too. Henry Ruggs, which ran the fastest time, but nobody expected Justin Jefferson to run a 4.58. Nobody expected that. So I had to throw him. He's going in the first round. I'll get to him later. So next we have at the 13th pick. The 13th pick, I got the San Francisco 49ers taking Jerry Jeudy. Coming right off the board behind CeeDee Lamb. Jerry Jeudy is an absolute monster. 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 I'm going to say that again. He pretty much dominated the SEC. When Tua was healthy, throwing him the ball, nobody could stop him. So it's just that I believe CeeDee Lamb is a little bit more polished at the wide receiver position. But San Francisco replaces Emmanuel Sanders with Jerry Jeudy, and that's not a bad replacement. Next, we're going to go with the Cleveland Browns. To be honest with you, who cares who Cleveland takes? I wouldn't want to go to Cleveland. Who cares who they takes? Whatever Cleveland gets, it turns to crap. Honestly. The one thing y'all going to learn about me on this show, I'm very honest. Very honest. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And I'm going to let you know. So Cleveland, whoever they get, may God be with you. But your career is basically over. But for sake of a mock draft, I think Cleveland takes an offensive lineman. They need to protect Baker Mayfield. For what? I mean, he ain't going to do anything. But they need to at least attempt to show Baker they care. So they're going to take an offensive lineman. Probably Tristan from Iowa. But, man, Cleveland is cursed. Man, Cleveland is cursed. All the talent in the world there, and they still only win 8 games. Come on, man, get out of here. I'm moving on from Cleveland. We got the Denver Broncos next. Denver Broncos is taking Henry Ruggs, wide receiver, Alabama. They got him to go with Cortland Sutton. You got Melvin Gordon. You got Philip Lindsay. You got the quarterback Drew Lock. Henry Ruggs comes out there, gives you a deep threat, somebody to take the top off the defense, and you should win more games than you won the previous year. We'll see. Because I just don't believe in Vic Fangio as a head coach. But we'll see. Vic Fangio is a great defensive coordinator. Head coach, not so much. But moving on. So next, we got Jacksonville Jaguars. So I believe Jacksonville, when he traded, I did the trade with the Atlanta Falcons for the 9th pick. Jacksonville is going to probably improve their defense. You got the defensive lineman out there. I think his name is Njoku. He's complaining from the highest of the hills that he wants to get out of Jacksonville. And this will be the perfect opportunity for Jacksonville to address that by trading him and drafting K'Lavon Chaisson, defensive end, LSU. Chaisson is a great rusher. Playing the run, I think he's going to need to bulk up. As far as coming off the edge and trying to get at the quarterback, he's one of the best in the draft. So I believe that it's a good pick for Jacksonville. You get a chance to probably get some more picks if you trade Njoku and improve your team. Probably come back into the second round and possibly get a Jordan Love. Gordon Minshew. Come on, man. He's not the answer. He's not. Get it out your head. So, moving on, the Dallas Cowboys. What is Dallas thinking? What does they think? What are you thinking, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones? Pay the man. Pay Dak. Pay him. Like, why are you prolonging the inevitable? Pay the man. Pay him. He's your franchise quarterback. The problem is they didn't expect that from Dak. They didn't. The Joneses paid Tony Romo with no problem. None. And Dak has won more games in his first 3 years than Tony did. And Tony got his money with no problem. Pay the man. Right here, I think Dallas goes and addresses their defensive line. Again, they did get Aldon Smith. This is where I think they go and get Javon Kinlaw. Right here, the defensive tackle from South Carolina. He's a pretty good player. Is it a reach? I don't think so. But he can help with run defense because your other defensive linemen disappeared when they got paid. I ain't gonna say no names, but y'all know who they are. The one that he paid in the summer that they put out an APB on because he got his money and disappeared. But Dak can't get his money, and he the franchise quarterback. Man, get out of here. Next is the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins is picking again in the first round because they traded their strong safety to Pittsburgh. So this is actually Pittsburgh's pick. And right here, I believe the Miami Dolphins could possibly take Xavier McKinney, a safety from Alabama. Here we go with New England. You let Tom Brady walk. You know, I ain't saying nothing wrong with it. I probably would have let him walk too. He's 40 years old, 42 or 41, one of them. He's old. You traded Rob Gronkowski today because you said, well, Gronkowski said he only wanted to play with Tom Brady, and he wasn't going to play for your team anyway because he said his body was breaking down, so he took the year off, right? So you finessed Tampa Bay to give you a 4th round draft pick for a player that was not going to play for you anyway. And the said player said he would only play with Tom Brady. So if I'm Tampa, why am I giving up a 4th round draft pick and I'm the only one you negotiating with? Nobody else is going to give you a higher pick. So why would I give you a 4th round draft pick? Man, New England is the mob, bro. They probably sent Bruce Arians a letter with his daughter tied up in the basement, and Bruce said, take a 4th. Hell, I'll give you a 3rd. It just doesn't make sense to me. But right here, I think New England takes a quarterback to possibly push Stidham that they have out there. And this quarterback more than likely is going to be Jordan Love. More than likely. I mean, I don't see them signing in a Cam Newton, even though Cam said he wanted to go out there. I don't see that happening. Him and Bill Belichick, Cam would be released by halftime of game 1. Bill Belichick is a no-nonsense guy, and Cam is a very nonsense player, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, no. Jordan Love more than likely goes to New England right here. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the pick from Los Angeles with your Jalen Ramsey trade. Right here, I think Jacksonville takes another wide receiver. Jordan Love went off the board, so they can't go quarterback. Right here, I think you see Justin Jefferson comes off the board. They go and get them another LSU wide receiver. They got DJ Chark a couple years ago, who's out there progressing really well. You got Leonard Fournette at running back, who is in my opinion, a top 10 running back in the league. So right here, I think they go back to LSU and get them Justin Jefferson, who is going to step in immediately and be the 3rd wide receiver in the slot. Immediately. Our next pick is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Right here, I think Philadelphia goes and gets them a edge rusher. Now, Philadelphia right here more than likely would have been a wide receiver, but we seen Ruggs, Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Jerry Jeudy come off the board already because they don't have any wide receivers. All their wide receivers are very old. You got Deshaun Jackson, he can't stay healthy. Alshon Jeffrey body is breaking down, and I don't know any. Well, Nelson Aguilar, he can't catch. I catch better than Nelson Aguilar. You understand me? I can get out there and catch the ball better than he does. And Hassan Whiteside is a bust. But all the top wide receivers are gone. So who do you go get? You go and fix the defense. You needed cornerbacks, but you fixed that when you traded for Darius Slay. So that's no longer a need. You go out and you get an edge rusher. Right here, there's the edge rusher from Penn State, Yator Gross Matos. Never seen this guy play in my life. But all these scouts say he is like the third best edge rusher. He's behind Chase Young. He's behind Caleb Vaughn. And then it's him. So, I mean, I'm just picking an order for these teams. That's what I think they're going to get. That's an immediate need because all you have on that defensive line is Fletcher Cox. And Fletcher Cox is getting long in the tooth, if you know what I mean. So next we have the Minnesota Vikings. Right here, I think you would have had a wide receiver come off the board because they need one to replace Stephon Diggs. They do. And we all know that the kid from Ole Miss, he got released and only got brought back when Adam Thielen missed half the year. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. That's how much of a non-player he is. But I do know he came from Ole Miss, and he was a bust. But right here, you can't get any more wide receivers. If you do, it's a reach. So I think they go cornerback because you also got rid of Xavier Rhodes this year. So Minnesota Vikings will take Jalen Johnson. He's from Utah, cornerback. I think you see him come off the board right here. He's the ranked the fourth best cornerback in the draft. So I think you see him come off. He may be the second. All this is a crapshoot. These guys are just looking at tape and they say, oh, I think he can do this. I think he can do that. So right here we have the Las Vegas Raiders pick. Again, this is your Antonio Brown pick. And right here I see the Raiders taking what is this in my opinion, a corner because you already addressed the wide receiver position earlier with taking CeeDee Lamb. And right here, I think you addressed the cornerback position with Jeff Gladney, Texas Christian University, TCU. I seen this guy play one time. He played against my beloved Southern Jaguars. When Southern made an appearance out there a year ago. He's pretty good. He's a first-round draft pick. A little bit small, in my opinion, but he got good ball skills. I think he steps in day one and plays as a starter because who else did the Raiders have? Nobody. There's plenty opportunities available in Las Vegas. Right here is the 24th pick. This pick is the New Orleans Saints pick. Now, here, I think the Saints are going to go linebacker, but I don't know which linebacker they go. They do not upgrade the wide receiver position because they've done that already with signing Emmanuel Sanders. They don't address the quarterback position because all your big name quarterbacks are gone. Tua is gone. Justin Herbert is gone. Jordan Love is gone. We know Joe Burrow is gone. You right? So And plus, they believe that Taysom Hill is the future. They really believe this. So I think they are going to address the linebacker position. Right here, it could be Kenneth Murray, Oklahoma, or it could be Patrick Queen, LSU. So let's look at it from a personnel. I should say personnel. A personnel. So AJ Klein is gone. Kiko Alonso can't stay healthy. Demario Davis is all you really have at the linebacker position. Craig Robertson is a special teams player. So you need a linebacker. You don't necessarily need any cornerbacks because you got Marshawn Lattimore. You got Patrick Robinson. You brought back P.J. Williams. You let Eli Apple skip out of town. But before you did that, you traded with the Giants last year and got Jackrabbit Janoris Jenkins. So you don't need any defensive backs. You let Von Bell walk. And then you brought back Malcolm Jenkins, who you should have never let get out of the building. This is something that just really ticks me off when I think about it. They let Malcolm Jenkins go and brought in Jarius Byrd. Paid him more money than Malcolm was asking for. Y'all need to understand something. Jarius Byrd showed up to the Saints facility in an ambulance to get his money. He came from Buffalo hurt. Malcolm Jenkins has never missed an NFL game. Ever. The only reason why you had Von Bell is because Jarius Byrd was so bad. So kudos to Sean Payton. You see me, I calls him Sean Percocet, but I'll get into that at another time. So kudos to Sean for bringing Malcolm back. But right here at the 24th pick, I got them taking either Kenneth Murray or Patrick Queen. If I had to flip a coin and pick one, more than likely to be Patrick Queen because he's right up the road with the connection that Sean has with Ed Orgeron. Orgeron used to be on Sean's staff. Orgeron is a great recruiter. I'm sure Sean still has his number on speed dial. If he has any questions about any player that he may be thinking about drafting, then, I believe that Ed will shoot straight with him. I don't think he has that type of rapport with Lincoln Riley out in Oklahoma. So I think you go with Patrick Queen right here, who is, he ain't Isaiah Simmons, but he has a good motor. He can run sideline to sideline, and he can actually thump. So Patrick Queen or Kenneth Murray wouldn't be a bad pick here. So long as the Saints don't take a offensive lineman, I'm good. I'm talking about like in real life, because Sean could screw up a wet dream, if you allow him to. But y'all will learn how I feel about Sean on some future episodes. So right there at 24, I got Patrick Queen. So on the next pick, we got 25, we got the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, I got them taking a offensive lineman, probably some, let me see. Who can they take at offensive lineman? I'm taking an offensive lineman because I believe that they need all the blockers they can get. Dalvin Cook is he's basically the offense now. Kirk Cousins, man. Kirk Cousins is grossly overpaid. Whoever Kirk Cousins' agent is, he should be hired by every player in the NFL. Every player should get Kirk Cousins' agent's phone number and do business with him, because he didn't have to wear a mask to get Minnesota to rob Minnesota of that money. The man deserved every percent that he got off signing that deal, that guaranteed deal that Kirk got. He deserved every percent that he got off that deal. But right here, I got Minnesota possibly taking Ezra Cleveland. Never seen this guy play in my life, but they say he's the fifth best offensive lineman, and I think Minnesota needs an offensive lineman, so that's why I plugged them at. Okay. Next, we got the Detroit Lions. So right here, I think the Detroit Lions will possibly take AJ Espinoza, edge rusher, Iowa. AJ Espinoza is sliding in the draft. Why? I don't know. I live in Louisiana. I have never seen Iowa play on my television except when they play LSU in a bowl game. So, yeah, that's who I got them taking. Detroit, AJ Espinoza at the 26th pick. So, next pick is Seattle. Right, Seattle. I got Seattle taking Kenneth Murray. Now, I got Seattle taking, I put the Saints taking Patrick Queen. So right here, I got them taking Kenneth Murray. So, granted that Kenneth is on the board at this time, it's either Patrick Queen in his spot and Kenneth Murray goes to the Saints, or Kenneth Murray ends up here and Patrick Queen is out with the Saints. That's how I'm gonna rock it, you know. But I got Seattle taking Kenneth Murray. Bobby Wagner is starting to get old. I mean, he's still hitting, but he is starting to get old. And right here, you possibly get a replacement for him, because Pete Carroll is just as shrewd as per se Bill Belichick, whose philosophy is to get rid of a player a year early rather than a year late. You understand? So right here, I got Kenny Murray from Oklahoma going to the Seattle Seahawks. Our next pick is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Baltimore is known for drafting defensive players and making them out to be Hall of Famers. But right here, I think they go get some help with blocking. I believe they had a offensive lineman that retired on their line. So now you got to go out and get you a lineman to protect your investment in Lamar Jackson. Because if Lamar gets hurt, there is no Super Bowl aspirations. You need Lamar Jackson. You need him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So right here, I got them taking an offensive lineman, Cesar Ruiz from Michigan. Next is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans has one player on their offense. I understand that A.J. Brown is out there. I understand that Ryan Tannehill rejuvenated his career out there, and they paid him a bag of money, but Dak Prescott can't get his. Go, man, get out of here. You got to be kidding me. Anyway, so Derrick Henry needs to run for 500 yards a game for Tennessee to have a chance at winning. So right here, I got Tennessee taking an offensive lineman. Josh Jones, offensive tackle, Houston. Next is going to be the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay takes a wide receiver because after Devontae Adams, you don't have one. Jimmy Graham was a huge disappointment. You paid him $10 million a year to go out and catch 30 balls. So Devontae Adams got injured last year. Alan Lazard stepped up. He did. For a game. Aaron Rodgers can only do so much. So right here, I got Green Bay going out and getting Denzel Mims from Baylor University. This is one of Matt Rule players. If Carolina finds their way back into the first round, I think he might end up in Carolina. But I don't have Carolina trading up in my mock draft. So I got Denzel Mims going to the Green Bay Packers. So our next pick is going to be San Francisco. San Francisco 49ers. Right here, you got them fixing the hole that was created when DeForest Buckner gone, and they traded him to Indianapolis Colts, which is why they ended up with the pick to get Jerry Jeudy earlier. So right here, I think they take a defensive lineman, Ross Blacklock, TCU. Only seen him play when they played my beloved Southern Jaguars. But they say he's good. So that's who I have them addressing, taking another defensive lineman to fix the hole that DeForest Buckner left. Right here, I have Kansas City Chiefs at the number 32 pick, taking the best player available, whoever that may be, because I don't know. Usually teams that that just won a Super Bowl, they just take the best talent available. Kansas City, every team needs it to improve, but they don't jump off the screen with me with any players that left for free agency. They just probably drafting for depth, be honest with you. Maybe a running back right here. Maybe you see Clyde Edwards-Helaire come off the board. Possible, because LaShawn McCoy is out of there. LaShawn is done. He's not going to give you 16 games, not even 13, 12, maybe 8, but you're not going to pay him all that money to play 8 games a year. And NFL doesn't do well with load management. This ain't the NBA. You feel me? So right here, I just got Kansas City taking the best player available. Now, that concludes our mock draft. So right now I want to address, as I draw to a close with this episode, is the talent that's in the NFC South now. So the NFC South has been a two-headed race for possibly the past, well, I can't say two-headed. I would say three. A three-headed race for possibly the past 15 years. You had Carolina, you had the Saints, and you have Atlanta. Some years, Atlanta won the division. Some years, Carolina won the division. And then some years, the Saints won. And it was almost, for a good period of time, it was one of those three teams winning the division every year. One year to Carolina, then the Saints, then Atlanta. Then Carolina, then the Saints, then Atlanta. Or Atlanta, then the Saints, then Carolina. It was very hard for teams to repeat. Now, the Saints have been able to do it for the last two to 3 years. They've been able to repeat as division champs. But that's only because the other teams have been underachieving. No one expected the Atlanta Falcons to come out and just get injured and not be able to compete for a division championship. Same thing with Carolina. But all that has possibly changed. I see Carolina as the new bottom feeder of the NFL, the NFC South division. Carolina is in total rebuild mode. Atlanta Falcons, I believe a piece here and a piece there, they'll be able to get back to competing for the division. I don't see them winning it, though. The Saints are the creme de la creme of the position, of the division, I should say. That's most so due to they have less turnover than all the other teams. If you want to argue that the Saints have possibly underachieved the last 3 years, I won't fight you on it. I definitely won't. I will not fight you on it. That's most so due to coaching. I don't think it's necessarily quarterback play, even though Drew is 40. He's old. He can't throw the ball down the field like he used to. But you got people out there willing to go to war with Drew, and they think that Drew is the best thing since sliced bread. He used to be. He's not anymore. The best thing that could have happened to the Saints last year was Drew not playing every game, which happened because we seen what happened the year before. He tired out. He ran out of gas. Then last year he has the thumb injury and he misses better part of, he missed 4 games. He should have set out come back after the bye week. But whatever Drew wants to do, Sean lets Drew do. And that's where I get off the Sean Percocet bandwagon. But all that has changed with the entry of Tom Brady to the division. Tom Brady is going to add some excitement to the NFC South division. I do know that he's going to be a much better player than Jameis Winston was. Jameis Winston is blind. I'm here to tell y'all, he's blind. I said he was blind in November, and then lo and behold, he waits to after this season to announce that he's had LASIK surgery. Why didn't you have LASIK surgery done when you signed your contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers your rookie year? Why are you waiting to year 4? What is this, 4 or 5? I don't know. To get LASIK. Why are you waiting till you throw 30 interceptions? Why? I just don't understand it. And I probably will never understand it. And it's more than likely why he's still out there right now looking for a job. You can't throw 30 interceptions. You're going to turn the ball over 30 times yourself and think you're going to keep the starting quarterback position? Man, stop. But anyway, so Tom Brady is into the NFC South now. And he got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, I can't say he got. The mob got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to send a 4th-round draft pick, even though they was negotiating with themselves. They weren't negotiating with anyone else to get Rob Gronkowski down to Tampa. So we're going to see exactly how this plays out, because I kind of seen this movie before. I remember when the Washington Redskins signed Deion Sanders, Bruce Smith, and still had Darryl Green on the team. I remember they didn't make the playoffs. They didn't. I remember it like it was yesterday. So you can get as many players as you want. You got a broke down tight end that quit on the New England Patriots last year because he said he was injured. His body hurt. He needed to step away from football. And then you bring in a 42-year-old quarterback that play has declined the last 2 years. And you think you're going to challenge for a division and a Super Bowl title? You in win now mode? We'll see. So I'm going to end this right here. I'd like to thank any and everybody that has listened to me today. If you agree with any of my picks, let me know. If you don't agree with any of my picks, let me know. I'm here for all the debate in the world. So this has been Goon with the 2020 first round mock draft. And like I say, thank you guys for guys and girls. You know, there's no sexism over here. Thank you guys and girls for listening to me. I really appreciate it. You could have been doing anything else in the world, but you decided to tune in to the Goontelligence Sports Podcast Show. Thank you. And I'll see you on the next episode.